About 9 o'clock one morning in November 1985, the phone rang and a fellow asked me, "How would you like to play the bagpipes in Canton?" And I said, "Where's Canton?" And he said, in China. And I said, "Oh, you mean Guangzhou?" And I said, "Why are you asking me this?" And he said, "Well, I've just come back from Canton and I met the casting director, the name was Poping, of the movie Taipan, featuring an Australian actor, Bryan Brown, which is being filmed in Canton, and they're looking for someone to play the role of Taipan's piper." And she said, "Do you know anybody in Australia who might be able to do that?" And he said, "Yes, I know just the fellow." I was at that time the pipe major of the Murwillumbah Pipe Band, and we had just marched in the Chin Kogan Festival at Mullumbimby, and that's where this gentleman had spotted me. So I immediately accepted the offer, and I had to go down to Mullumbimby dressed in my Scottish outfit so that he could take some photographs and send them to the casting director. Within a few weeks, I had received notification that I had been accepted for the role of Taipan's piper and was to leave for China in a couple of weeks, all expenses paid. I must say that I was to have quite an exciting experience. My engagement was to be for 1 week. Much of the movie had already been filmed in Guangzhou and had now moved to Zhuhai in the Southern Economic Zone, where an elaborate set had been constructed for the next part of the movie on the shores of the Pearl River. The cast and crew for the film were accommodated in the beautiful Zhuhai Resort Hotel. No time was wasted, and the very next day filming began for my role as Taipan's piper. The idea was, according to James Clavell's wonderful novel Taipan, that the Taipan, the role of being played by Bryan Brown, would call upon his piper to "play a tune, piper." And then there was a special scene called the Burning of the Cross scene with Taipan and his piper that had to be filmed. Bryan Brown and I spent a few days and nights shooting the long shots, the short shots, and the close-up of that scene, Burning of the Cross. You were able to see the rushes, that's the film that had been taken during the day, in the evening, and they looked really good. But unfortunately, not 1 centimetre of those scenes finished up in the movie. So I literally ended up on the cutting room floor. But I suppose as compensation, I could be glimpsed standing around in the background. And in the scene where I'm playing, where I can briefly be seen playing the bagpipe for dancing on the beach, they didn't even use bagpipes music. They used some sort of a tin whistle. So it was all a bit of a fizzer. But as fortune would have it, rehearsals for the ballroom scene were taking place, and the choreographer, Terry Gilbert, asked me to participate. After he saw my wonderful dancing ability, he arranged for me to stay on till the filming of the ballroom scene, and I finished up having 5 weeks on the set at $600 US a week. And I was also able to take part in quite a lot of the other filming on the shore and also on board the wonderful square rigger, the Eye of the Wind, out on the China Sea, which was used for some of those scenes featuring that beautiful ship. Here are some more photographs from that time. with some of the Chinese cast before the day's filming began. One of the Chinese actors and a close-up with him on the beach. The Morning Cloud was the name of the ship in the movie. We had a great day out on the China Sea for the filming of these scenes on the Morning Cloud. Lunch is served. Practicing on the shores of the Pearl River. With the director, Darryl Duke, and walking down the table on New Year's Eve. We celebrated Christmas Day in Macau and with fellow actors on the beach having a break during filming. To conclude this video, I thought I would tell you a little bit about how the Scottish part of my life came about. My Scottish heritage goes back as far as my great-grandfather, Thomas Peterkin, who emigrated from Aberdeen to Australia about 1870 and settled on the central coast of New South Wales at a place called Telegraph Point. But for me, my Scottish life began when my mother, Bessie, made me a full Scottish kilt at the age of 3.5 years old. I remember singing, "I love a lassie, a bonny Highland lassie," dressed in this outfit at a Lismore at Stedford when I was very, very young. The kilt, which is now in my brother Neville's possession, was worn by him when he was very young, and over the years all my nieces and nephews and their offspring had their photos taken wearing it. Aren't they just gorgeous? Many years later, when I went to Sydney Teachers College in 1951, at the age of 16 and a half, I was boarding in Golf Parade in Manly. On Sunday mornings, I could hear the skirl of the bagpipes coming from a nearby park where the Manly Warringah Pipe Band were practicing. I went to investigate, and before I knew it, I was beginning to learn the bagpipes, and I soon joined the band. I played for several Anzac marches with that band. I also took lessons from a champion piper, Charlie Anderson was his name, who was a member of the Parramatta Pipe Band, and I later joined that pipe band for many years. I also wanted to become a proficient Highland dancer, and I took lessons from a teacher in Sydney, Peggy Peters. I danced for several years and had some successes at competitions, the New Year's Day and the Maclean Highland Gatherings, and the Lismore and Sydney at Stedfords. This is an adjudicator's report from one of those. After National Service in 1953, I became a member of the Sydney University Pipe Band for about 3 years. For several reasons, overseas travel, a new job and so on, I stopped playing the pipes for a while. Although I did play the role of the piper in the Mosman Musical Society's production of Brigadoon. When I moved to Tulgum in the Tweed Valley in 1981 to pursue my pottery career, the Murwillumbah Pipe Band was playing at the local pub one day. When I made it known that I had been a piper, I had a set of pipes thrust into my arms, and after I played a few tunes, I was immediately invited to become a band member. I did, and I eventually became the pipe major for a few years, hence the experience of Taipan's piper. The band played for many functions in the Tweed and surrounding areas, and especially 3 or 4 times on Anzac Days. On one occasion, I was asked to pipe in the then Premier of New South Wales, Neville Wran, on the occasion of the opening of the Sunnyside Shopping Centre in Mooloolaba. After the band folded up, my piping activities consisted of playing for openings, weddings, birthdays, Anzac Days, and funerals. I piped a lot of caskets into their final resting place. And now here are just a few more photographs from that time. Thank you for watching. But just let me play you a couple of tunes to end up with.